Welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball from Cincinnati, Ohio. Great American Ballpark is the site. A 10-game road trip begins here tonight between the Reds and the Cardinals. St. Louis with a 4.5-game lead over the second-place Pirates. Glad you're with us. Rick Horton with Al Raboski. Pitching has been the story this season for the Cardinals, particularly, Al, starting pitching. And the Cardinals' best of late has been Jaime Garcia.
Well, the starters had a rough turn around the rotation. The only one that was good was Jaime Garcia. And, of course, he's been good all season long. 15 starts this year. He has the 4th lowest ERA in Cardinal history.
Last time out, Garcia was terrific against the Pirates. He's going to be opposed by a left-hander, John Lamb, looking for his first big league victory. September baseball from the Queen City. big plus to the Cardinals offense. He's in the lineup here in Cincinnati for Game 1 and had a big hit in the final game against the Cubs. Here's how Steven explained the at-bat and his emotions.
I'm not even sure how to explain it, really. I wasn't sure if they were going to try to get ahead with the strike or not, and I was just looking for something over the plate, and to be honest with you, I don't know if that was fastball or changeup, and I just swung as hard as I could and got a good piece of it, and as soon as I hit, I knew it'd get down. And, oh man, that excitement, the chills, that was fun.
We haven't seen a lot of emotion from you, even though you played very well at second base. We saw some.
Yeah, I couldn't resist right there. The crowd was loud. That was just, oh man, that was fun.
Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Rick Horton, Al Raboski, and Jim Hayes are with you today. A beautiful night in Cincinnati. Temperatures in the low 80s. Very little wind to speak of. And an important September game for Mike Matheny and his Cardinals. And here's the batting order for Game 1 of this series. It'll be Matt Carpenter, Steven Piscotty, and Johnny Peralta, 1, 2, 3. Followed by Hayward, Molina, and Reynolds. Moss, Borges, and the pitcher, Jaime Garcia. September call-up, so the bench quite a bit bigger for Mike Matheny and more decisions possible for him. Wong, Jay, Adams, and Garcia from the left side. Stanley, Grichuk, Kozma from the right side. And the left-handed rookie making start number 6 is John Lamb.
John Lamb, you see he's 0-3, ERA over 6. He was property of the Royals when this season started, was one of 3 left-handers that came over in the Johnny Cueto trade.
And he's had some good moments, but hasn't been able to finish off that first big league victory yet. And the Cardinals, Al, are facing a left-hander again.
Yeah, they are. And I think most teams will kind of stack left-handers up against them. Cardinals are doing better against left-handed starters than they did earlier in the season because they're seeing so many of them.
Lamb not overpowering, hits the outside corner. 2-1 now to Matt Carpenter. Carpenter having another terrific season, especially power numbers. 21 home runs, 72 RBIs, out of the leadoff spot. And the pitch. This is in. Part of Carpenter's value has always been deep counts.
Well, it can be, but you know, it's interesting, those 21 home runs, a career high, kind of challenged by Matt Holliday to drive the ball more. Remember a couple of years ago he hit 55 doubles, and Holliday saying you can hit the ball out.
And he draws a walk, and that's how this game starts. Cardinals with a base runner. We'll look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal of this left-hander Lamb.
Well, you can see the fastball and the cutter. He's throwing those. The changeup is a big pitch for him. And I was talking to Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham has faced John Lamb since 2010 in the minor leagues. And he's saying there is a difference between him and the minor leagues and here. He's incorporating that cutter and that curveball in on the right-handed batters. He used to just pitch on one side of the plate. He used to only throw away. And now he's trying to take advantage of running balls in on the right-handers and then that changeup away. And what really makes that changeup a good pitch is it's 15 miles an hour slower than his fastball. That's a big variance.
Low for a ball to Piscotty, who had that big hit in the final game against the Chicago Cubs. And what a dramatic turnaround that was. A 3-run Cardinal 8th inning. They were trailing the Cubs. Had John Lester the whole way and looked like the homestand was going to end on a sour note. And with that victory, Al, it's not maybe the plan, but Cardinals ending up with a 4-5 homestand.
Yeah, you wanted to do much better, but it was sure nice to change the whole complexion of the homestand with that final victory. And set the tone for a happy flight. You come in here, you got a tough 10-game road trip. I think the most important thing is you need to win against Cincinnati and Milwaukee. You dominate against these teams, and then you'll take your chances. Even if you play 500 or thereabouts against the Cubs and Pirates, you knocked off 10 games off the schedule.
Hitters count for Piscotty, 2-1, now 3-1. He's trying to go inside, as you mentioned, and he's having trouble throwing strikes. A walk to Carpenter, now behind in the count to Piscotty, who's hitting .329 and much better than that in the last 16 games. 17 RBIs, .374 average in his last 16 games. Could be a go pitch here. The 3-1 is taken for strike 2.
And Rick, I think the one thing too that the Cardinals, they all notice is the absence of fans. Quite a difference in atmosphere here at this ballpark than at home. You're going to have to force yourself to be up.
Carpenter running on the pitch, a late break. Piscotty fouls it off. Catcher Tucker Barnhart, is throwing out 30% of his runners. He's catching behind the plate today for Cincinnati. Brian Pena was hurt on a pinch hit double. Came up lame at second base with a hamstring, so he's out. And we'll see if Carpenter goes again. He goes again, and it's ball 4. So back-to-back walks. Good start for St. Louis.
And not exactly the way a young pitcher wants to find his first major league win, by walking the first 2. And also get your defense back on their heels. This is an opportunity for the Cardinals to just jump out in front. And you're playing the second division club, and the Cincinnati Reds are trying to stay out of the cellar for the first time in about 3 decades. But you jump on them early and they'll look to tomorrow.
Johnny Peralta 0 for his last 11, leads the Cardinals with 141 hits. First pitch to Peralta is a high strike. Well, the velocity is there from that left-hander. We see that. The command not yet. Again, he had a very good season in AAA, 10-2 with a 2.67, and what that did is get him traded.
And he's already had his Tommy John surgery, and they feel the velocity will come back up.
Good life on that fastball. 0-2 on Johnny.
I did talk to the Cardinals advanced scout, and he felt that the gun here was a little quicker than what he has seen in some of the other parks, but it's actually throwing harder than what he kind of anticipated. He thought more about 92 at the top.
So Chapman's not really throwing 102. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's just throwing 101.51.
I looked at the top 50 fastballs thrown in baseball. There's a website for that. Chapman has thrown all 50 of them. Not surprising. The inside move. Keep the runners honest. Very shallow in center field is Billy Hamilton, one of the most exciting young players in this game. The pitch to Peralta, swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Took something off of that for out number 1. Let's take a look at that Cincinnati Reds defense. Behind Lamb, they have Bourgeois, Hamilton, and Bruce in the outfield. Two very good outfielders in center and right. Suarez and Phillips up the middle. Phillips a Gold Glover. Frazier and Votto at the corners, and Barnhart, very good defensive catcher behind the plate.
That was the changeup away. They got Peralta, who's now 0 for his last 12. You'd love to give him more rest, but with the Adams and Holiday out of the middle of the order, you got to keep them in there.
Outside corner, strike 1 to Jason Hayward. Hayward had a slow start in 2015, but he's come on. In that cleanup spot, good hitters ballpark here in Cincinnati. Oh, and 2. I'm not sure if it's fair to say, Al, that the Cardinals are making Lamb work in this first inning, or he's making himself work hard in this first inning.
I get your point. I think it's a little more of him making himself work more than he should.
Hayward asks for time and gets it.
But he's very slow and deliberate on the mound, so that might be a frequent occurrence. Now Joey Votto in a little trouble last night's ball game, as he didn't try to call time, was not granted, and got himself ejected.
Breaking pitch waved at by Hayward. A 3-strike at bat for Jason. As we take a look at that last delivery.
Johnny Peralta strikes out on a ball up and away, and there's a ball down and away that just totally fooled Jason.
One of the problems we were told that Lamb has had all season long is when he gets guys in scoring position, he can't finish the inning.
Exactly. But it's usually later in the game.
Another good changeup.
You can see the Cardinals, they got a scout report. They know about that changeup, but until you really see it when you're standing in the batter's box, you don't quite understand what it does to you.
Oh, and 2. I like your point there, Al. It's a little bit like getting a scouting report on LeBron James and then saying, go ahead and guard him.
Yeah. No, they told you everything you need to know.
Right. You know what he's going to do. Stop it.
Sure. And there you can see that cutter coming in. You know, very effective. See if he doesn't go with a changeup away. They wait a pitch or two to get the count better. Back in.
Popped up. Went with the changeup. Phillips calls everybody off and makes the play. So Lamb works around a couple of walks. No score from Cincinnati. Ready for his first at bat, and we'll look at the rest of the Cincinnati Reds order, and it's a good order. They just have not produced as you would expect them to. Hamilton, Bourgeois, Votto, followed by Phillips, Frazier, the All-Star, and Jay Bruce. Very good bat in right field. Suarez is the shortstop. Barnhead will hit 8th, and Lamb is the pitcher, and he'll hit 9th. And we'll look at the Reds bench opportunities. A couple of switch hitters, Pena and Cabrera, Bosch and Schumacher. From the left side, Ivan De Jesus Jr., Duvall, Lamar, and Negron.
Jaime Garcia is 15 starts. Look at that. 8-4. The 4 losses were 4 times the Cardinals were shut out. Matter of fact, the last time was at home against the Cincinnati.
Part of his ritual, Al?
Yep. Watch him kind of step out there, just kind of give him a mental place and mark where his foot should land. That's his landing foot will end right there. Sometimes you draw a line to say, okay, I don't want to go too far on one side of it. I don't want to throw across my body, which most left-handers all do.
So it was directional, but it was also distance because he was measuring it off. Looked like it was 5 feet, more or less. 5 Garcia feet, anyway. And his first pitch is inside to Billy Hamilton. Much better hitter from the right side.
His natural side, more power from this side. 4 home runs, 3 of them when he's batting right-handed.
Really want to keep him off the bases, and that's one way to do it. Get him to hit the ball in the air. That's Borges, the center fielder, for out number 1. Garcia has a tremendous arsenal, a lot of movement with all of his pitches.
But that's it. I mean, he doesn't throw as hard as he once did, but the one thing that he does is he keeps the ball down and just terrific movement on all of his pitches. He's got the 4-seamer, and he's got the sinker. They're moving. He's got a changeup that goes away to the right-hander. He's got a cutter that comes in on him. You know, a lot of different weapons he can throw at these guys and change speeds with all of them.
It's our Hyundai pitch arsenal. And the sinker is inside for a ball to Bourgeois. He has hit Garcia well, 427 in his career. Got injured in spring training. That slowed his season. And there's a strike right down central.
Fractured scapula in spring training for Bourgeois. Got a lot more playing time than when Marlon Byrd was traded to the Giants.
And it's a call, 3rd strike. First strikeout for Garcia. And Garcia is a guy that usually relies on his defense. So we'll look at what he's got behind him today. He gets a lot of ground balls, and he'll rely on the infielders, especially our Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's Cardinals defense. Is Reynolds, Peralta on the left side, Carpenter and Moss on the right side. Molina will do the catching, and it's Piscotty, Borges, and Hayward in the outfield from left to right.
Remember his last time out, 7 innings. He had 1 fly ball out and 1 other pop up. Everything else was on the ground or a strikeout. Joey Votto, 2010 MVP of the National League, and he's putting up those numbers once again. Phenomenal on base percentage. Look what he's done against the Cardinals. And the last time Jaime lost was because of a 3-run home run by Votto.
Off-speed pitch is a strike. Votto, in some ways, like Matt Carpenter, they're not afraid to work the count. Votto, of course, 122 walks on the season. He's an on-base percentage guy. He leads the National League with those walks. And he doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes.
And he's been unbelievable since the All-Star break. Hitting right at 390. And just that on-base percentage is off the charts.
Reds have invested in Joey Votto. He will be here for a while. Slider taken for a strike, 2-2. Cardinals play him in the outfield, shaded a bit to the left side, infield to pull. not unusual. Borges fairly shallow in center field, slightly in left center. He will use all fields. And the 2-2 from Garcia is a breaking pitch in the dirt. Votto, like Carpenter, will get called strikes on pitches just off the plate as much as anybody. And Votto, as you mentioned, Al, wasn't happy without getting the timeout call last night, but he is already unhappy about some strike calls against him, and Carpenter's had a few of those moments too.
Yeah, and both of them have exceptional batting eyes, but it was the fact that he thought he had called time, it was not granted, and that set him off.
There's a pitch just outside. He makes sure that it's called a ball, then heads down to first base. Walk number 123 for Votto. And that walk gives us a chance to look at your Toyota keys to the game, Al.
Well, we just want to jump on top of these guys, get an early lead, and let them think about coming back tomorrow. And for Jaime, continue his dominance. The other starters have struggled the last time through, but not Jaime. Matter of fact, in his last 7 starts, the Cardinals have won all 7. He is 5-0 in those 7 starts, and an ERA under 180. By the way, it's Votto's 32nd birthday today, and that is now 29 straight games where he's reached base. They say sometimes that Votto is more concerned about his on-base percentage than some other production numbers, and for money that they're paying him, they'd like to have him think about home runs and RBIs.
It's a great argument in this game, isn't it?
It sure is.
You've got the power argument. You've got the on-base argument. Drive-in runs or score them. Ground ball to short. Peralta flips to Carpenter. We played one. No score from Great American Ballpark. Any size drink is just 50 cents the next day. Coffee, fountain, or frozen. When they score, you pour. At your nearest On the Run, you earned it. Top of the second, no score. Reynolds, Moss, and Borges for the Cardinals. Reynolds 0 for his last 8. We know of the potential power that Reynolds brings to this game. He has 12 home runs, 44 RBIs, the average at 235, but that's what you're going to get from Mark Reynolds. You make a mistake, he'll hurt you. And you like seeing him in the game here at this kind of ballpark too, Al, because this ballpark cannot hold him.
All right, you don't need much help. Just about everybody is a home run threat in this small ballpark.
Underneath that one, into shallow center field. Hamilton comes on and has it for out number 1.
Now, John Lamb is seeking his first major league win, and he marks the 41st consecutive start by a Reds rookie pitcher, and that ties a major league record set by, wouldn't believe it, but the Cardinals back in 1902. And tomorrow they're going to they'll set the record with the 42nd, as they have 5 rookies in their rotation now.
Fastball outside to Brandon Moss, who's 0 for his last 15.
Why is he starting today against the left-hander?
It's a good question. I was hoping you could answer that. You mentioned Tommy Pham not playing today. Could have been an option.
Mike Matheny trying to be creative a little bit. Tommy Pham said, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't say that Tommy Pham said I crushed him all through the minor leagues, but Tommy also said that he's throwing different, from what they saw from the scouting reports.
Well, he had to try something different. He had an ERA of over 6 4 seasons in a row in the minor leagues, and last year figured something out at the AAA level, and then had a breakout season this year in AAA.
Third walk.
But that's his 3rd walk.
You can see how this atmosphere is vastly different than the 45,000 screaming Cardinal fans. You really have to, motivate yourself, mentally push yourself to be up. It's easier for the Cardinals because they're in a pennant race, but when you have these lapses, you play against clubs that are not drawing and not playing well. You really have to take advantage of it.
You think all the team needs is just the reality that that's their job, but you feed off the emotion and it's not there. The energy at the ballpark. The Reds are trying to get out of last place. That's certainly on their mind. Currently a couple of games behind the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers playing better lately. Milwaukee taking on the Pirates tonight, the Cubs and the Phillies. Their game has been delayed, the start of their game in Philadelphia.
Ricky, it's been the Reds organization hasn't finished last in 31 years. That's the longest streak current for a team trying to avoid playing or finishing last place. Matter of fact, it's been 24 years for the Cardinals.
Swing and a miss. Borges strikes out. That's 3 strikeouts for Lamb. And here's the numbers you're talking about, Al. 31 years since 1984, the last time the Reds finished in last place. And it's been a long time for the Royals, Braves, Yankees, and as you mentioned, the Cardinals. It was 1991.
Not too many baseball teams want to finish last to get the first pick.
No.
But you still could finish last and not get the first pick.
Good swing by Garcia. I don't know if you'd call Jaime a good hitter. Maybe that's the right way to say it, but I think he's gotten better this season. I think he's had some good at-bats, and average is just .094, but he swings like he's got an idea at the plate.
Yeah, and I think that's only natural with all the time that he's missed. When he first came up, I really liked his swing and thought he would develop into a pretty good hitting pitcher. And not to say he can't do it, but with all the serious injuries and time away from the game, his emphasis was on pitching.
He's done so well pitching. Look at the numbers: 8-4, 1.89 ERA, and I don't know of anybody that would have guessed those kind of numbers from Jaime Garcia in 2015. But where would the Cardinals be without him? Waves at that breaking pitch, and another strikeout. That's 4 in the early going for John Lamb. Todd Frazier when we come back. Let's bring in Jim Hayes, who's looking very handsome in his shirt and tie and outfit today. Jim, you look very handsome as always. What do you got for us?
A little bit on Matt Holliday, who's on the road trip with the Cardinals and is getting closer to making a return. Matt has been taking BP. He's been running at close to a sprint. He says the last big test will be base running and the stop and starts and running on an arc that go with it. He says he'll do base running drills starting tomorrow. He says it's the final hurdle to cross. He told me like he's very close, and he thinks he should be back sometime during this road trip. Rick, Matt says the quad is doing much, much better.
Well, thanks, Jim. That's great news. And just being able to call it the last hurdle, I think, is terrific news for Cardinal fans. Matt Holliday's bat, Al, certainly missed over the last month or so.
Well, you know, you got Grichuk back now, and you got Holliday and probably Matt Adams very shortly after that. Maybe Belisle on this series here. But that opens up a whole bunch of new can of worms, you know. How do you continue to play baseball and get these guys back into playing shape? And do you have enough time to get their timing back? You know, that playoff roster, there's going to be some disappointed people on that one.
That's bound to happen, isn't it?
Yep. And it's a sign of too many good players. And every player has come up here and contributed at some point.
29-year-old Todd Frazier digging in and waving at that delivery from Garcia. Pulled off it a bit.
Don't forget Adam Wainwright. You know, they kind of let him go along with his, to help his psyche that, oh, I'm going to pitch this year, to now it's a really strong possibility.
Hard hit, base hit. First hit of the night for either team belongs to Todd Frazier. Line drive to center field.
He's now 4 for 18 off of Jaime. And you wonder if the ball got up a little bit. Yep, stays up a little bit over the middle of the plate, because when you see a ball hit to the outfield, you know that it was probably elevated.
You and I were talking about Garcia's last start. 7 innings against the Pirates. He had 9 strikeouts, and only 1 ball was hit to an outfielder.
1 fly ball, and remember there was only 1 other out recorded in the air, and that was a weak little pop up to second base.
Good pitch to Jay Bruce, 2-time All-Star. He plays right field, very good defender. Strikes out a lot, but also has that home run power. 20 homers, 75 RBIs for Bruce.
Say he's in a real funk right now. You know, his swing has gotten real long and loopy. But don't forget that power. You make a mistake, he'll lose it.
A lot of talk around Jay Bruce perhaps being traded at the trading deadline, and it didn't happen, but his name was out there, maybe going to the Mets. The Mets, of course, got Cespedes, and he's helped them drive towards the National League East pennant, and perhaps they'll close that out soon, as the Nationals are going the wrong direction.
He got swept by the Mets over the weekend. I saw a little tease for the MLB Network right before I got on the bus, so I didn't hear it, but they were going to debate whether Cespedes should be an MVP candidate in the National League, playing less than a third of the games. I don't think so.
You phone your opinion in for that debate? Just,
nope.
I don't think so. We'll just move on. Ground ball right side, tough for 2, and Carpenter gets the lead runner. Frazier didn't panic. When you know you can't get 2, you slow down and you get 1.
But the real key to me was a second baseman, when he will take the tougher shot to make sure to get the lead runner, because you get the lead runner, you're always doing your job. And it's a lot easier to just throw that ball to first and put a man in scoring position. So take the tougher route, and he gets it done with ease. You know, Carpenter's so well schooled, you know he's not going to make any mental mistakes like that. He'll get the job done all the time.
He's going to make some errors, physical errors. He'll strike out, but he is a smart player. Eugenio Suarez playing shortstop for the Reds since the injury in June to Zach Cozart. Cozart had been off to a good start offensively. He's a really good defensive shortstop, but Suarez has stepped in and done a nice job.
Now there's Cozart right there. Just kind of a lost season after the early injury, and you're right, very good defensive, and now starting to hit a little.
And on cue, he lines one to left field. Sinking line drive, so 2 hits in the inning now for Cincinnati. Suarez, the highest average with runners on base. He's hitting .368. He's up there with the big boys.
Kind of sneaks up on you. You kind of think, well, he's not going to hit for power. He's not going to do much. You kind of maybe don't pay him the respect he's due.
Switch hitting catcher Tucker Barnhart.
Barnhart hits .175 from the right side. More than 100 points higher on the left side. I mentioned that Pena pulled the hamstring last night going into second base and on a pinch hit double. So Barnhart should be at pretty much playing time.
This is low. I got a trivia question for you, Al, and I'm 100% sure you're going to get it right.
I hate trivia.
Well, what major league catcher who's playing in this game won the 2011 minor league Gold Glove as a minor league player? And he's playing in this game, and he's at the plate.
I'd say Barnhart.
See, I knew you'd get it. I had faith in you, Al.
Any more clues?
See, if all trivia were like that, you'd like it better, wouldn't you?
Oh, sure. Switch hitter.
Hitting .259. Interesting is caught stealing's good. He blocks the ball well, but the catcher's ERA is high. When he's been behind the plate, the pitchers have not done as well. We'll see if that continues here. 3-0. Now 3-1.
And he's also, hitting much better. Safely in 11 of his last 15 starts with a .315 average.
Bruce Suarez, the runners. Jaime needs one of those patented ground balls. Two hopper to Peralta. 3-1. This is low. And that'll load him up for the pitcher Lamb, who does not have a hit in the big leagues.
Of course, we don't know, but you never should assume just because he doesn't have a hit or he's a young pitcher that he can't swing the bat, because he did swing the bat, in high school like just about everybody. You hit 300 or 400 in high school, or even college. A lot of pitchers are good hitters, but you better just go right at him in a strong attack mode.
Garcia wants strike one. And he gets it. Lamb is 0 for 9 in his very young big league career. From La Palma, California.
Oh, yeah. Very nice area.
Ground ball left side. Peralta to second for one. On to first, and not in time. So the Reds get on the board first as Lamb beats the throw from Carpenter. Doesn't have a hit in his big league career, but that's his first RBI.
Right now, that's probably more important. Cardinals didn't get the first run of this ball game. It goes to them, but also the Cardinals are very good at coming from behind and just beats it out first base. If he's a right-handed hitter, he's out. But hitting left-handed, a step closer, he's safe.
Or if he was about 60 pounds heavier and out of shape, he's out. seen some pitchers like that in
yes, we have.
my day. Back to the top of the order and Billy Hamilton. 1-0 Cincinnati. Cardinals have been trailing early quite a bit lately.
Well, it's not the way you play clubs like Cincinnati. You want to break on top, and I'd say really not that they quit, but they look for tomorrow. But if they get on top, they'll play tough with you. They want to be the spoiler.
Garcia's pitched very well against Cincinnati. There's Suarez at third, Lamb the runner at first. 2 outs. Garcia has a record of 10-3 against the Reds in his career, and he's now behind 3-0 on Hamilton. He's having trouble throwing strikes.
And remember his first start this year, he walked 5 in New York. But 3 times of those 5 he erased it with a double play ball right afterwards. Then he went about 30 innings without walking a man.
In danger of his 3rd walk already as he works here in the 2nd inning. Pitch count getting up early for Garcia. Pitch count has been a conversation about a lot of Cardinal starters. Martinez, Wacha, innings. Don't really hear that with Garcia. There's a ground ball. Peralta has it, and he flips to Matt Carpenter. The Reds strike first. We've played 2. 1-0 Cincinnati. Value deal that can't be beat. Fans can purchase tickets for just $5 each to the Red Series September 21st through the 23rd. Tickets are on sale now at cardinals.com/McDonald's. Cardinals have a lot of road games as we close out the 2015 season. The Cardinals on a 10-game trip here. 3 cities, all in the Central Division. Very important road trip for the Cardinals. They trail 1-0 going to the top of the 3rd, and it'll be Matt Carpenter who walked and was stranded in that 1st inning. The Cardinals got a couple of walks, but couldn't do anything with them.
Yeah, the Cardinals only have 7 more home games. They have the best home record in ball of baseball, but they also have the National League's best road record. So playing those road games, not that big deal.
Strike 1 to Carpenter. It is unusual for a team to be so good on the road. The Cardinals don't seem to mind it, as you mentioned. Again, play well at home, but it's nice to kind of keep it going on the road. The Cardinals have only had one time where they've lost 4 straight. The Reds have had 2 9-game losing streaks this season, just to put that in perspective.
I think Mike Matheny's done a great job of keeping guys focused, keeping them concentrated on the game at hand.
In my view, Mike Matheny and Clint Hurdle, for that matter, not getting enough credit for the job that they've done this season. They've got the 2 best records in baseball, and in my mind, whoever wins the Central Division, just one man's opinion, ought to be the manager of the year in the National League.
Well, I think I will second that, and I think Madden's done a good job, and you could say
Terry Collins,
Collins and stuff, but I think Mike, when he first inherited it, he inherited a very good ball club. But what he's done since then with his team, keep them focused, keep them winning, especially this year with all the injuries, I don't think you can say that it's the same team.
Key in the driver's seat, you were talking about the road wins in 2015. The Cardinals have had 38 of them, but they've had plenty of road wins the last 4 seasons under Mike Matheny. And so you may inherit a good team and a good program, but this is 4 years later, and your team is close to 40 games over 500. How about a little love, Al?
Well, and then with all the injuries and all the call-ups that you've had, and then to have the best record in the game, I think that overrides, maybe what he inherited 4 years ago. That he's been able to keep it going, and he inherited a ball club from, at the time we were saying a future Hall of Famer. Now we say Tony La Russa is a Hall of Famer and one of the best managers of all time. But Mike's done a terrific job in going to postseason every year. The last 3 years going to the league championship series, and it looks like we're going to go into the playoffs again, and let's hope even further. Mike may be guilty of deferring too much credit.
Maybe.
Always will stand up for his players. And, most managers, that's commendable and what they have to do and need to do. But he also.
There goes Carpenter. Ground ball up the middle. Kicks the bag and completes the double play. That's Suarez.
Looked pretty sweet right there, didn't it? We were told Suarez has really improved his defense just by working with Brandon Phillips, 4-time Gold Glove winner, and it looked like either one, second base or shortstop, could have fielded this ball, but Phillips gives way to his shortstop and steps on the bag and takes the elevator up to complete the throw.
Suarez made a number of errors when he first was given that job at shortstop and was struggling a bit, and of course Jay Bell knows a little bit about playing the infield. He's the bench coach for Brian Price. He was working with him, but the credit really does go to Brandon Phillips for daily kind of showing him the drills that he does. Phillips is a fantastic fielder and has been a Gold Glover many times over, and I think it's rubbed off a bit on Suarez. Time is granted. And again, Votto says, see how easy it is? Just say yes. Votto lost his mind yesterday. You saw that, didn't you?
I saw it, and I even asked Hall of Fame writer here in Cincinnati, Hal McCoy. I said, has he been suspended yet?
Let's take a look at what Votto does. He'd asked for time before that pitch, and he didn't get it. And then he said, how come I didn't get time? And a moment later, he said, Brian, he's not giving me time. So, okay, now you get time. You get thrown out. Now the hat goes. Now the argument goes. And that lasted a bit, and Votto got his 2 cents in. Base hit for Peralta following the double play off the bat of Piscotty.
Lamb is 25 years of age. He's from Southern California, but his grandfather, John Ramsey, as you take a look at the base hit by Peralta, John Ramsey is very familiar to anybody that grew up in Southern California. He was the public address announcer for Dodger Stadium from 58 to 84. He also worked in the capacity for the Rams, Raiders, Trojans, Angels, Kings, Lakers until his death in 1990. But we all knew that voice. John was born in 1990, and if he did meet his grandfather, he can't remember it. But he was quite a distinct voice,
and that's a nice legacy for him.
Yeah, and also he picked up 2 of his grandfather's World Series rings that have been gifted down to him.
Like every player, he'd like to get one of his own. This Reds organization has some work to do. Let's be honest about it. They're minor league struggling right now. They've got a couple of young prospects, but a lot of the prospects are here now. You mentioned 5 rookies in their rotation. I wonder if that's a good thing to have. You almost want a veteran in there, Al, don't you, to kind of show them the way?
Well, you would like, and they got Homer Bailey back next year, but he's injured now. And I talked to Brian Price a little bit. You remember, he was the pitching coach here in Cincinnati before he became the manager. And Brian saying one of the things that he's having a lot of fun with these kids, but one of the things he's trying to tell them is that 5th inning, 6th inning, you get in trouble.
Little flare to left, a base hit for Hayward. So he serves that one over the shortstop's head. So the Cardinals have had a walk and 2 hits in the inning, but no scoring because of the double play.
But he said, you get a couple guys on, and I don't want you looking at that bullpen. I want you to learn how to get out of those jams yourself. And I think that's a very good lesson for a lot of young pitchers. Here you see right off the end of the bat, just lobs it over the infield. And maybe now we'll see some of Lamb's problems when he gets guys in scoring position.
Yachty hit with 2 runners on in the 1st inning, 2 runners on here in the 3rd inning, with a chance to get the Cardinals on the board. Open stance for Molina, and that almost hit it.
You see Lamb, .462 average with runners in scoring position. Does have 2 outs, so he might get out of it. A lot of times they say he'll be pitching pretty well, and then he'll get into that 5th and 6th and get beat.
Late swing and a foul.
Remember Chris Welsh, analyst for Fox here in Cincinnati, told us that Lamb would remind me a little bit of Jerry Royce. I don't think so much Jerry Royce. You know, I think Bill Spaceman Lee.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see a little Jerry Royce with tattoos, though.
There's George Grant and Chris Welsh. What a nice man.
Oh,
George Grant.
Oh, good friends.
Chris, the heck with him. He's a left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, we know what they're like.
No thanks.
We've got our fill of those. Barnhart fakes a throw. Peralta trying to get as big a lead as possible. Terrific arm in right field with Jay Bruce. Hamilton, a plus defender in center field.
Very much so.
Cutter misses inside, 3-1.
Kind of see this second time through the order. It looks like all the Cardinal hitters picked up a little bit something. Have a little more of a foundation of what he's trying to do to them.
The 3-1. Low for a ball. The bases are now loaded for Mark Reynolds.
5 walks.
Well, you talk about a young pitcher trying to figure his way out of it. The pitching coach is Jeff Pico. And he's going to give him some advice on just what to do right here. And at some point, you try to calm him down, but the name of the game is still throwing strikes.
And the first thing you say, okay, take a deep breath. And he'll tell him all the different things about throwing strikes. And you just hope Mark Reynolds is at the other end and said, look, I'm not going to be too selective. I'm just going to look for a pitch right here, belt high, and I'm going to belt it. And a lot of times This is where that first pitch, especially after a pitching coach paying a visit, you might get a cookie.
Hoping for that cookie. Peralta is the runner at third. He's talking with Jose Oquendo. Hayward singled. He's aboard at second, and Molina with the 2-out walk.
I learned that lesson the hard way.
Sometimes those are the best lessons.
Well, you don't forget them, do you?
Nope.
And Ron Fairley, he said Simmons was yelling at me, you know, hey, don't be too fine. Don't be too fine. And so Ronnie Fairley said, I'm not going to be too fine. I'll look for a pitch right there. Home run.
Should have been finer. Good fastball there at 92. That had a little life on it. In action already. That's Ballister, the right-hander. So the Cardinals don't have a run yet, but there's action in the Reds bullpen. The 1-1 out in front a bit was Reynolds, and he fouled that one off his foot, which he's done quite a bit lately. 1-2. Reynolds with 12 homers and 44 RBIs.
Well, we have seen him a little bit more this year than I think previous years, where with 2 strikes he doesn't take that big vicious cut, more taking a little bit of a 2-strike approach, trying to make contact.
Seen some base hits the other way.
Exactly right.
Cardinals would take that right here, or they take ball 2. 2-2.
Big pitch right here, though. You don't get him, retire him here on 2-2, and you run that count full.
Stress?
Well, stress, but all of a sudden you got the merry-go-round, all the players are running, and a lot of things can happen negatively.
The 2-2. Grounded off the foot again.
That one hurt.
Wonder if he's hitting the same spot even. Part of the reason that it's bothering him right now, I bet, is the repeated pounding it's been taking.
Right in, and then right below the ankle on the instep. Or maybe even caught a little bit of that ankle bone too, but do that one time and you feel it. And then, like you said, if you kind of hit that same spot or even near it, you know, it takes a little time to recover. But the first thing is to go numb.
Think about how important a hitter's base is to feel good.
That's the only thing I can figure out. I'm just going a million miles away, but Alan Craig. Remember, he hurt the knee the one year, the ankle the other, and like both sides, he had no foundation. It's the only thing that makes any sense of why he struggled so much.
Well, you say a million miles away, but it wasn't that long ago that he was a productive member of this St. Louis Cardinals team, and it's changed so quickly for him, and we always wish him luck, but he's struggling to find his way in Boston.
Nobody better, and 2 years led the major leagues with hitting with runners in scoring position. Just don't forget how to hit like that.
2-2 is grounded foul. Reynolds hanging tough.
By the way, have you noticed since the trade Cueto that brought Lamb here, since August 14th, Cueto has made 5 starts and his ERA is over 7.
Very surprising. The 2-2. Change up just misses the outside corner.
A little bit up and away, and now you do have the merry-go-round.
You have the merry-go-round and the stress.
See, good close, call. But when you walk 5, you aren't going to get those borderline calls.
Everybody will be moving. The 3-2 pitch to Mark Reynolds. Out of play. Got in on him a bit.
And about now his eyes have stopped watering, and maybe he'll see the pitch now. after fouling that ball off the foot.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat. I'm sure he's not counting that either. He's just trying to get that firm base, drive the ball somewhere. And it's been a good at-bat for Reynolds. Peralta, Hayward, and Molina. They'll all be moving on this 3-2 delivery. And here it comes. Swing and a miss. Reynolds strikes out. He's tied up on the inner half. That's strikeout number 5 for Lamb, who somehow escapes the top of the third. Cardinals with 2 hits in the inning, 2 walks. This strikeout helps out John Lamb. On Fox Sports Midwest and on Fox. Coverage starts tomorrow at 5:30 with Toyota Cardinals Live here on Fox Sports Midwest. Saturday's game will be on Fox beginning at 11:30 a.m. And we're back here on Fox Sports Midwest on Sunday. Cardinals and the Reds all weekend on Fox Sports Midwest and Fox. Rick Horton with Al Raboski along with Jim Hayes. Dan McLaughlin will return on Sunday. And an important series here in Cincinnati, and the Reds off to a 1-0 lead as they bat here in the bottom of the third. Bourgeois, Votto, and Phillips to face Jaime Garcia. Reds starter having control issues, and Garcia hasn't been particularly sharp with his command.
No, he hasn't, but I'll bet Jaime finds it before Lamb.
Let's hope that's true. See Jaime kicking the dirt in his landing area, just didn't seem quite comfortable with that delivery. 2-0 again, and behind a lot of hitters. Unusual for Garcia.
He is really matured as an individual and as a pitcher, Jaime, and think about, we always say when he's healthy, we'll take him because he wins. Keeps the ball down and just has tremendous movement. But he's had rotator cuff surgery, labrum surgery, Tommy John surgery, thoracic outlet surgery. I mean, any one of those 3 surgeries could have ended his career. And he's battled back. And I think all that time on the DL, all the rehabbing, he realizes how much he loves this game and how much this could be his last start ever. And you just like his mental approach, but you just don't see him throw the ball up there.
Not usually. Leadoff walk to Bourgeois. It's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag MWDataStrongFan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by T-Mobile. A few Cardinal fans here in Cincinnati. Sparse crowd, as we've mentioned. Joey Votto has been outstanding since the All-Star break, and he wasn't bad before that. First pitch from Garcia misses low again. Votto walked for the 123rd time in the first inning. His on-base percentage since the All-Star game, nearly .570. The 1-0. Late swing and a foul.
Votto, when tried to call timeout, it was a 1-1 pitch, and it was called a strike. You know what he hits when he has a 1-ball, 2-strike count?
I happened to see that.
192, and he's had 532 times. The difference when he has a 2-1 count, 494.
300 points higher. That 1-1 pitch is a ball instead of a strike. The 1-1,
All right, so this would be the 246th time he's had a 2-1 count.
And just to punch that a bit, he goes from a 190 hitter to a 490 hitter because of that pitch not being in the strike zone. And that's the pitch he argued, a 1-1 pitch.
Right. Got thrown out of the game. Sent Cabrera up, another backup catcher. And he got his first major league hit on that 1-2 count. And it just seems like if he doesn't get the base hit, he probably has an extended bat and ends up walking.
Three walks already for Jaime Garcia. 5 walks for the rookie starter for Cincinnati. We are only in the bottom of the 3rd. The 3-1 Votto. Base hit up the middle. Bourgeois running hard will make it to 3rd. So Votto comes through. Runners at the corners with nobody out here in the 3rd.
Bourgeois in the lineup because of what he's done against Jaime, but also the ability to go from 1st to 3rd. He's got good speed, but you don't have to have good speed to go 1st to 3rd. You just have to have good instincts.
Instincts, and you got to want it.
And I was going to say my next word was you got to want it.
I'm in your head, Al.
Yeah. You're in trouble.
Uh-oh.
You are in trouble.
Help me.
And don't worry. Don't worry. He'll recover. Might take a while.
I think she's worried. That brings in Brandon Phillips. He takes a strike, and Garcia ahead of the second baseman Phillips, who grounded out in the 1st inning. Cardinals will take a double play and give up a run here. They're at double play depth up the middle.
And that's really that Jaime's game. The ground balls. Wouldn't you say most young pitchers, when first come up, they're enamored and fall in love with a strikeout? You want to strike everybody out. And then when you get a few years under your belt, you get a little smarter and say, you know,
let's get them out.
I can get 1 pitch and I can get a double play, or a minimum with 3 pitches. Strike somebody out.
So is the perfect inning 9 strikes and 3 strikeouts, or is the perfect inning 3 ground ball outs?
3 ground ball outs, because you're going to go another 2 or 3 innings because of that 3 ground ball outs.
Strikeout would be good here, however. And situationally, you do get a little greedy here, Al. If you're Jaime Garcia, you don't want to concede a ground ball here. Maybe you get the strikeout, and then you've got to face Ty Frazier in the on-deck circle, but he's grounded into 17 double plays.
Right. And I just think, too, that you know, there is a time and place. And now that he's got 2 strikes, you do go for that strikeout or a pop-up in the infield.
got his sign from Molina. There's a ground ball to Peralta, to second for one, on to first, and not in time to get Phillips. Peralta no chance to get the runner Bourgeois at home because he was playing back, and the ball wasn't hit hard enough to be a double play. Phillips runs well.
Tough enough play for Peralta coming in and fielding that ball in front of second base and then having to reach back and throw behind him to the second base bag to get the out at second. But as you said, they're playing back looking for the double play, so no chance to get on a slow tapper to get the runner at the plate or really to turn a double play.
A ground ball to Peralta produced the game's first run. That was John Lamb in the second inning. Now a ground ball similarly hit to Peralta from Brandon Phillips makes it 2-0. And it's Frazier, but first to move to first. Frazier leads the National League with 39 doubles. Starting third baseman for the All-Star game and won the home run derby.
But his home run totals really have sunken in the second half. And you wonder if there is a correlation to being in that home run derby.
That's well hit to right field. Back goes Hayward. He's back and makes the play on the warning track in front of the 370-foot sign. So a long allowed out off the bat of Todd Frazier.
It just kind of gives you an idea how small this ballpark can play. That was not hit particularly well at all, and yet it goes in the middle of the warning track in the opposite field.
If memory serves, the guy who won the home run derby and then had the most dramatic fall off was Bobby Abreu. I believe he won that, had a record breaking experience, and this is all from memory, but there has been a theory, Al, that if you get in the home run derby that your home run production drops in the second half.
And memory serves me, Jim Edmonds hitting the home run derby one time ended up hurting his shoulder, and or at least aggravated it. But as pitchers, we don't care about the home run derby, and I really don't like the fact that it's almost become a bigger event than the game itself.
Well, I've long advocated having a changeup down and away derby, but nobody seems to be on board with it. Would you watch that?
Well, my theory was get a headhunter pitcher out there and throw at their heads and see how they hit laying on their back.
We'll call that the Roboski derby. Jay Bruce batting with 2 outs. Phillips the runner waves at that breaking pitch.
When's the last time we heard a headhunter term?
Last time I heard it was somebody was looking for a job.
In baseball reference.
Oh, long time.
Long time.
Garcia trying to finish off the inning, and Jay Bruce. Mentioned Bruce's swing has been a bit long. That last swing was one of those as he waved at the breaking ball. Will Garcia repeat with a breaker? 0-2. Two nothing Cincinnati. And the 0-2 breaker misses low. Really a nice night for baseball. Still no breeze to speak of. Very calm evening. Clear skies today. Temperatures right around 80 degrees. A little warm for September baseball, but it certainly has that feel for Cardinal fans because they know the importance of this game and this series and this road trip. And the 1-2. Check swing. And he did not go, says Greg Gibson, our third base umpire. Game number 140 for the Cardinals. Counting today, 23 games left. 88 wins, 51 losses. Fly ball to right. Just missed that one. Underneath it a bit was Jay Bruce. And Hayward has it. So a couple of long outs to end the third. Reds pick up another 2-0 Cincinnati. Over the Cardinals 2-0. They've out hit St. Louis 3-2. And our DraftKings players to watch includes Todd Frazier, the Reds' third baseman. We look at the National League home run leaders. Nolan Arenado with 38. Carlos Gonzalez also in Colorado with 37. Bryce Harper, a big year for him. Many say he may be the most valuable player in the National League. He has 36. And there's Frazier in fourth with 31. Brandon Moss takes strike one. Moss walked in the second inning. And he is 0 for his last 15, as we mentioned. Moss, Borges, and Garcia in the Cardinals' fourth. And the question will be, does this 25-year-old left-hander settle down with his command? How many more innings can he go? The walk total is climbing for him. 0-2 is popped up. Left side. Frazier comes over from the shortstop position to make the play for out number one. Moss now 0 for his last 16. And that brings in Peter Borges. Borges struck out in the second. He's 0 for his last 10. And the Reds try to take the bunt away from Borges. Votto in on the grass on the right side, and Frazier about even with the bag at third. Borges getting the start in center field. The day after Mike Matheny gambled, those were his words, by putting Randall Grichuk in center field without the ability to throw. And Mike said, I'm at the point in the season where I'm looking for where my best offense is if push comes to shove, and wanted Grichuk in the lineup, and certainly got burned by it. The Cardinals did in the first couple of innings.
And this was a scheduled no-throw day period for Grichuk, so another reason why he's not in there. Peter Board just gets the opportunity, and it's been a struggle for Peter last year and again this year, and a lot of strikeouts. He's 0 for 2 with 2 Ks here today.
So Garcia will try to keep the inning going. He was a strikeout victim in the second, so the walks are piling up, but so are the strikeouts.
I think when you walk 5 and get away with it when you strike out 6. Walked the first 2 batters of the game, and Cardinals couldn't do anything. Strike out and a pop up in the infield followed. His pitch count really for all those walks and strikeouts is not that bad.
It was pitch number 80, working in the 4th inning.
Well, maybe if I looked at the strikes instead of strikes and balls.
Well, it could have been worse than 80. I might have guessed higher than that, frankly.
But
you'd like to be at about 13 to 15 an inning.
Yeah.
In a perfect world. And
you'll see that all of these young pitchers, it's hard for them to get much past 5 innings because their pitch count will get up there.
The 2-2 to Garcia, and you're 3-2 on the pitcher. There's an example of some wasted pitches in this inning for John Lamb. 32 pitches in the 3rd. He had the long first inning as well. Watch out. Looked like that just missed Stephen Piscotty, who is not on deck, but he is in the hole. He'll hit after Carpenter, and that ball went right over his head, thankfully. And a walk to Jaime Garcia with 2 outs. Brian Price just aged about an extra 6 months with that last at bat. His 2nd year as the manager, 53-year-old former left-handed pitcher. Price and the Reds were 76 and 86 a year ago, 10 games under 500, but this year they've dealt with injuries. Some of their players are aging. Just hasn't worked for the Reds this season. Carpenter to left. Bourgeois has it. Another 0 on the board for the young left-hander. MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now. Cardinal fans hoping for some runs. And they've been disappointed so far as it's 2-0 Cincinnati. It'll be 7, 8, 9 for the Reds facing Jaime Garcia. Garcia so far, what would you say?
Well, it's not vintage Garcia. You know, he's out there struggling a little bit, but he is keeping his team right in this ball game, and I think you'd have to be more disappointed with the offense not taking advantage of the 6 walks they've been given.
Cardinals stranded 2 in the first, 3 in the third, and 1 each in the second inning and the fourth inning. Eugenio Suarez singled in the second. The single by Suarez is the hit in an inning out that I talk about from time to time that nobody really goes back and talks much about. He didn't get an RBI, didn't score a run, but he was a key at bat in that inning to advance the runner and allow somebody else to drive him in.
Yeah, it you know, keep the line moving.
Right.
And just like you said, not that he's an out, you know, but he's somebody I think that Jaime consistently would get out if he was throwing his type of game.
Been up a little more.
I was just going to say, there's another pitch that's up, and that just isn't Jaime Garcia. You pitch up for effect.
Jammed him a bit. Soft liner to center for out number 1. We'll bring in Jim Hayes again. And Jim, you have more on the Cardinals second baseman Kolten Wong, I understand.
Yeah, a little bit more information on Wong dealing with the left calf strain. He told me it happened making a play up the middle in the Sunday night game against the Pirates. He finished the game but told me the next morning it was all locked up. He said at this point in the season the trainers thought it didn't make sense to push it, so they've been very careful with it. He did take BP today and says the calf remains a little tight, but he's hoping he'll be fine in a day or two. Rick, they're calling it a slight strain.
Okay, Jim, thanks for that. And it'd be nice to get Kolten back in the mix a bit. Those calf strains can hang on a bit.
Now that's it. You know, and you don't have you're running out of time in the final month, so you don't want to have an injury that lasts 2 or 3 weeks. And that's what happens if you come back too soon. So you have plenty of reserves with your bench, your extra call-ups, so you can weather something for a few days.
Part of the value the Cardinals have, you mentioned earlier, the number of players now on the roster that you're trying to get at bats with. There's no real reason to panic or to kind of rush somebody back. The Cardinals with a 4.5 game lead over the Pirates. I know that feels a little tenuous, but you'd rather be the Cardinals than the Pirates right now.
Absolutely.
And it's been 3, 4, 5 games for quite some time now. So you can afford to be a little more patient. There's a good off-speed pitch on the outside corner. Barnhart does not like the call, but it's strikeout number 2 for Jaime.
Breaking ball that he starts out outside. Barnhart gave up on it. Questionable whether it's a strike or not, but sold it to the umpire.
We've talked about players in this game with good eyes at the plate, and that's Carpenter, who knows the zone, and Votto for the Reds. A guy that I always thought understood the strike zone as well as anybody in his era was Pete Rose. And the Reds have announced on Saturday on our game that's on Fox that it will be Pete Rose bobblehead night here at Great American Ballpark. So that will be very interesting.
He's loved and revered here.
He sure is.
And some other allegations and everything surfaced for a while, but I was kind of thinking, early in the season, I was thinking that maybe the Commissioner of Baseball would make an announcement at the All-Star game to possibly reinstate Pete, but then that didn't happen.
Didn't happen. The All-Star game here in Cincinnati. And Garcia in danger of walking the pitcher Lamb to return the favor. That happened with 2 outs and nobody on in the top half of the inning. Please don't do that. I said please.
And let me accommodate you for at least the 3-2 count.
I believe he just swung at ball 4. Again, a ball up from Jaime, unusual. Another 3-2. This one grounded to Peralta on the backhand. He boots it and still gets his man. I said please. Garcia gets the ground ball. 2-0 Cincinnati. Back. I know there'll be a lot to talk about here as the Cardinals play game 1 of this 4-game series against Cincinnati. Jimmy Ballgame had so many good moments against these Cincinnati Reds, didn't he?
How many home runs did he take away from Jason LaRue? Climbing the center field wall, making spectacular plays, clutch hitting.
Maybe Tim Trocchi can get some of those catches into our postgame show.
We also hope the guys will have plenty to say on the positive side. As they're going to have to battle back.
And the Cardinals certainly have done that this season. They lead baseball with 39 come from behind victories.
And the best thing is, on the other side, the Reds have really struggled in that department. They're the worst, aren't they?
I believe they are. They're pretty good in the 9th inning, let me say that.
Well, we aren't going to let them get there with a lead.
Aroldis Chapman, one of the top relievers in the game, although the Cardinals closer Trevor Rosenthal is second in the National League with 43 saves behind Mark Melancon. Piscotty lines it into right field, base hit. Good start for the Cardinals here in the 5th.
This is the inning.
Piscotty seems to me that he is good for a hit every night. Hard to hold him down.
Well, he's just a good solid ball player that's got a good feel. You know, we know it was the education, and I'm not saying you have to have a high IQ to play baseball, but you do have to have a baseball IQ. And it seems like he has an idea of how to make adjustments, tries to figure out what they're doing to him and can make adjustments. You see St. Louis, the most comeback wins in the National League, 39. It'll be 40 after tonight. How's that for positive thinking?
I like it. Our own Norman Vincent Peale.
You would think with the pitch count getting up there that this will be the last inning for this lefty looking for his first major league win. He's had a win taken away from him with a blown save by their bullpen.
The Reds only have 13 relievers in their bullpen, so I'm sure.
Think it's enough?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll find somebody.
And you know, Rick, that sometimes you'll see teams that'll say that the Reds aren't good enough to have a lights-out closer like Chapman because they can't get to him with a lead. Too many games are lost before, as you're waiting to bring him in.
Talked to a lot of people around the Cincinnati club who have suggested that trading Chapman might happen, and there were thoughts that it was going to happen also around the trading deadline. Cueto was traded. There was talk of Jay Bruce, but Chapman's going to get you a lot of prospects, and that may be what the Reds need to balance this team out. If you've got a guy throwing 102 at the end, but you don't get to use him, what good is it?
And you've also talked about Brian Price and the injuries they've had. The first 5 games, Brian Price put out his projected lineup. And then after that, the injuries started happening. He's never been able to do it after the first 5 games, and it won't happen because of guys that are injured and not coming back this year.
4 lefties in the bullpen for Price. One of them is Tony Cingrani, and he is getting loose. Peralta, the 3-2. Grounded to third. Frazier to second for 1 and on to first. Another double play turned by the Cincinnati Reds defense. Two outs. That brings in Jason Hayward. Cooper Tires is proud to present Fireworks Night on Friday, September 25th, when the Cardinals take on the Brewers. Stay in your seats after the game to watch a dazzling fireworks display with the Gateway Arch as the backdrop. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Well, a promising inning starting there again here in the 5th inning. The Cardinals have had runners on in every inning, but a couple of double plays and a couple of key strikeouts for Lamb, and the Cardinals still looking for that first run.
And I'm sure Barnhart went out and told Lamb, hey, finish this one off right here. Have your first 1, 2, 3 inning. Put yourself in line for a victory, but don't get sloppy now. Go right after him. We did talk about the Cardinals that were there 39 come from behind.
Fly ball to left.
The Reds have 18, the fewest in the major leagues.
Reds will go at it again tomorrow. Coverage begins at 5:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. Of course, brought to you by Budweiser, and I would guess that guy, all-star catcher Yadier Molina, will be behind the plate catching John Lackey. 11-9 with a 2.90. He'll be facing Lorenzen, who's 4-8. Again, coverage beginning at 5:30 on Fox Sports Midwest.
I mean, hold them right there. Eventually, we'll get you some offense. Remember, the 4 losses that he has acquired this year have all been shutouts.
The last time that Jaime Garcia lost a game was against the Cincinnati Reds.
Right.
It was in St. Louis. He gave up a 3-run home run to Joey Votto. That were the only runs that he gave up in that game, and the Cardinals were indeed shut out.
And he has more wins against Cincinnati than any other team in the big leagues. So 10-3, 3.26 ERA, and 15 career starts, 17 appearances against Cincinnati.
A lot of base runners in this game for just 6 hits.
Well, there's been, what, 9 walks by both teams.
You don't want to walk this guy, Billy Hamilton. In fact, he doesn't walk a lot. He's pretty much of a free swinger. You mentioned earlier that he's better from the right side. But odd that he's only scored, with all the speed that he has, stolen bases, 54 of them, but he's only scored 54 runs.
And it does seem odd.
You better hurry. You got no chance.
Moss tried to do a good job of selling it at the other end, coming off the bag early. Peralta did a real nice job to make it as close as he did. Reynolds had got to play in, guarding against the bunt, so the ball gets by him. And here you see Johnny really circling the ball, trying to get something on the throw. Moss trying to cheat a little bit at the other end, but it wasn't going to help.
And now we have Molina and Hamilton. Yachty has yet to throw out Billy Hamilton.
Now, Billy Hamilton doesn't run as much as you would think. And when Yachty's back there, Padres have never thrown out Hamilton. Was he 8 for 8?
8 for 8. Did not have a big lead, but he's trying to get a walking lead against Garcia, trying to perhaps judge his move to first.
Well, Hamilton turned 25 yesterday, and that's also when he turned back to the starting lineup. He'd been out for a while with jammed his shoulder diving for a ball. He is 9 for 9 against the Cardinals in his career.
And 8 for 8 against Molina, as you mentioned. Still doesn't have a big lead. You'd think he'd get a bigger lead and kind of bother Garcia a bit.
Yeah, a lot of times a good base runner, and he is one, will take that one-way lead. They'll go out maximum, but they're not trying to steal. They're just trying to bother or get in the head of the pitcher, try to force a throw over there, and maybe he'll throw it away. And then there's other times to take a little shorter lead, and they're going.
It's not a real big lead.
But sometimes when you rush to the plate, you elevate the ball too.
3-1 to Bourgeois. Perhaps Hamilton just coming off the disabled list, part of the reason he's not running here. Another high pitch from Garcia and another walk. Second time he's walked Bourgeois, and that is asking for trouble here in the 5th inning. Now Hamilton was on the disabled list for a bad right shoulder.
Yeah.
Now whether that would affect your running or not, or perhaps they're worried about him sliding into second base, but he wanted no part really of stealing that bag, but he didn't have to.
But it looked like, Jaime trying to keep him close was rushing to the plate, and he ends up walking Bourgeois to bring up Votto with 2 men on. Not a good idea.
Tough spot right here for Jaime Garcia. First pitch is a called strike. Garcia and the Cardinals cannot afford to allow this lead to get much bigger. Oh, and 2. Highest on-base percentage versus the Cardinals this season. That belongs to Joey Votto. 19 times the Cardinals have walked him. LeMahieu, Harper, Kadire, and Polanco also on that list with on-base percentages over 460.
14 walks to Polanco, too. Leadoff hitter.
The 0-2. Watch out. Votto eyeballing Garcia, who just turns his back on him.
Got his attention.
Sure did.
Fraction of an inch when a ball gets away from a pitcher. Nobody wants to see the ball up there, but it happens at times.
Votto was mad last night, and he seems a little angry right now. The 1-2 from Garcia is low. 2-2. Appeared to me that Votto was just trying to get an indication from Garcia whether or not there was something intended by that. Now he's actually asking Molina in a friendly way.
And then you see a little smile on his face, so I think he got the answer that the ball got away.
Big 2-2 pitch here from Jaime. We'll do it again. Choate and Maness both getting loose for the Cardinals. Both pitchers with high pitch counts early. A ton of walks in this game.
Cardinals struggling scoring runs. You just can't allow it to get any further away.
And the 2-2. Fouled out of play. Garcia just not sharp with some of his pitches. That pitch kind of floating up there a bit. Votto jammed and fouled it off, but he's just not tight with everything.
Well, when we talk about when he keeps the ball down, how much movement it has. Very few pitches have been down really all night. A few of the times have been, if they were down, they were in the middle of the plate. But this is his 16th start, and he's been so good all season long.
Votto again working a 3-2 count. Garcia already has 4 walks in this game. Pitch count at 87. Both runners going, and a fly ball deep left field. Back goes Piscotty to the wall, and it's off the wall and in play. 1 run will score. Here comes another. No, he goes back to third, and he's safe. That's Bourgeois, who was held at the last minute. A good effort by Piscotty down the line, but Votto has doubled in a run, and it's 3-0 Cincinnati.
A little ballpark, he hits it to the shortest part, but coming off the bat of a left turn, it's going to keep on slicing away from Piscotty, and that ball kind of beyond our sight lines, but it was right up against the wall in the foul pole. And Piscotty trying to go for the catch. The ball got by him, but Borges was right there to back up the play. Here you see the effort. Crashes in, the ball caroms off, but there's Borges to stop it. Now Bourgeois is coming around here. He slides to hold himself up and gets in ahead of the throw.
Long way to go for Piscotty, and that ball did carry a long way. It's only 328 down the left field line. That's about how far that ball was hit by Joey Votto.
71 RBIs for Votto and a 3-0 lead.
I wonder just how fair that ball was. As you mentioned, we can't see the foul line that goes up the wall down the left field line from our vantage point. Could not have been fair by very much.
No. And now you got Phillips up with runners at second and third and nobody out. Infield in for the play at the plate.
Reds trying to break it open here in the 5th inning. A single, a walk, and a double by Votto. Now Phillips. Fly ball, left center field. Borges runs it down. That'll score Bourgeois. And it's 4-0 Cincinnati on the sacrifice fly by Brandon Phillips. Votto to third.
Second RBI for Phillips tonight. Votto knew that ball was deep enough. The runner at second base, he didn't even go halfway. He just stood at second base tagging up. Knew he could get around to third easily. The ball dropped. He was going to score easily from second base standing there.
Think about the last 9 hitters against Jaime Garcia, beginning with Frazier's last at-bat that was a long fly ball, then another fly ball off the bat of Bruce, a line out to center. We've got the double to left and that long fly ball. That is not what you normally see from Garcia. Balls in the air.
Yeah, very few ground balls today. Gotten a share, but you say it's almost equal to the fly balls. And his last start in 7 innings, 1 fly ball out.
Garcia at least trying to save this run. Votto again alertly tagging and going from second to third. Puts him in scoring position with just 1 out here in the Reds' 5th. The 2-0. Ooh, he hung that curveball, didn't he?
Wow. Yes, he did. Everything up.
The 2-1. Ground ball, foul, 2-2.
Jaime has 10 wins against Cincinnati. He's tied with Oliver Perez and trailing only Randy Wolf with 11 for the most wins against Cincinnati of active pitchers.
Base hit left center. Votto can trot home, and that ball goes all the way to the wall. Todd Frazier with his 40th double of the season. He leads the National League with those 40 doubles, and the Reds tack on another. It's 5-0.
81st RBI, and that's it for Jaime Garcia. Matheny out with a walk. It looked like Randy Schote would be coming in with the left-hand hitting Bruce coming to the plate.
So a tough night for Jaime Garcia. And it ends this way. Breaking pitch, double. 5-0 Cincinnati. Cincinnati, bottom of the 5th inning. Jaime Garcia's night is through. He leaves a runner at second base. That's Todd Frazier. Randy Choate is our Chevy call to the bullpen.
66th appearance for Randy, the left-handed specialist. Set a dubious record this year with having 18 appearances with not recording an out.
The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Randy Choate is pretty simple.
Yep, sinker, slider.
Even the numbers are simple to read.
You know, 60% of the time he throws that sinker.
Easy to remember. Deception, a big part of his game, obviously.
Yeah, and I think you really get the impression that there would be much higher slider ratio. But he'll throw that sinker in on the hitters, try and keep them honest, and then try to get you out with a sweeping slider outside.
1-1 to Bruce is a sweeping slider way outside. And a wild pitch. You asked for that sweeping slider and you got it.
Well, Molina and I both didn't want it in that location.
Nor did Randy Choate.
Nor did Randy. Pull the infield in to choke off that run. Reds 5 runs on just 6 hits.
Three and 1. Right-handed hitting Eugenio Suarez will be next. Bruce can't check his swing, according to Greg Gibson. Bruce doesn't agree. Chad Fairchild is our umpire behind home plate tonight. Gibson, we've seen him a couple of times. He's at third. Jim Joyce is the crew chief at second. And Pat Hoberg is our umpire at first. The 3-2. Fly ball into center field. That should be deep enough. So the wild pitch allows Frazier to advance to third and then score on the second sacrifice fly of the inning. Frazier congratulated by his teammates, and as they do that, I'm reminded of that victory, Alan. We talked about it in our open. The Cardinals come from behind victory against the Cubs in the final game of the homestand and of that series, a 4-3 Cardinals win, and just how important that win might be for this Cardinals team.
Yeah,
sit the other way.
Well, and also, you know, there is hope. You know, they have a lights out closer in Chapman, but a lot of games are won and lost between, you know, the starter and bringing in your closer, and that's one of the real Achilles heels for the Reds right now. So Cardinals still can be in this game, but they got to get some outs.
Stephen Piscotty, the big hero in that game. There were plenty of them, actually. A 2-run double, but a Matt Carpenter base hit was important. Also, the pinch hit from Greg Garcia, who's proven to be a good hitter off the bench for St. Louis. So plenty of baseball ahead tonight, but you just, again, the pressure even that they would be feeling now, right at this moment, had they not come from behind in that final game.
But and you remember, you know, late innings when you give a leadoff walk, what that comes back to do, and that's what happened to Reynolds in that comeback.
Choate trying to finish off the inning, facing Tucker Barnhart, 24-year-old catcher for Cincinnati. Mesoraco was hurt. He's out. Pena's hurt. He's out. And Barnhart swung and missed. Now he's out. 6-0 Cincinnati. 1,000 fans entering with a ticket will receive a one-of-a-kind Lance Berkman bobblehead as part of the Alumni Bobblehead Series, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Deerbergs. You can get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. It'll be outstanding to have Lance Berkman back at Busch Stadium. Be good to see him. Big part of those Cardinals October wins. And Tony Cingrani, the left-hander who has been a starter for these Reds in the past, he's our Chevy called to the bullpen.
Yeah, this is his first time he pitched since being promoted from Louisville on Tuesday. He was one of 6 roster additions for the September call-ups. He's made 25 appearances this year, 1 start. He's 0-3 with a 4.85. John Lamb, who started this ball game, is in line for his first major league victory if the bullpen can hold it.
Lamb did put up 5 zeros. You wouldn't say it was a dominating performance with those 6 walks, but he got the job done. Now it's up to the bullpen. Cingrani likes to pitch up in the zone, and it's strike 1 to Molina. Cingrani is one of those guys that has a kind of a different delivery, kind of a 3/4 delivery, almost pushes the ball, but when he's up, players just cannot pick up the baseball.
And it just seems like there's been a few guys like that. Sid Fernandez.
Fly ball to right. Molina retired.
Jim Boucher's lefties that kind of deceptive with their motion and have more success pitching up than down.
Cingrani, when he's down in the zone opposite of Garcia, that's when he gets hammered. Needs to be up and really doesn't have much of an off-speed pitch. For a guy pitching at this level, that's a bit of an oddity.
Like he hides the ball well. Just don't pick up the release point. And he is 0-3 this year with a 4.85 ERA. So
was that pitch up and away? 92. It's not like he's throwing at 98, but it just has a lot of hop to it.
It seems like arms and legs, kind of lanky.
There's a breaking pitch, not very sharp, but got the job done. Always wondered about Anthony Reyes, who was kind of that pitcher from the right side. What would he have been? And I know the Cardinals are trying to help him, trying to get him better, but what if they'd have just left him alone, let him try to pitch up in the zone? I wonder where his career might have gone. Pitches like that.
I know exactly what you're saying, but for 90% of the guys, that what they were trying to do would be the right course. But
exactly.
At a certain point, there's sometimes there are the exception, and you remember what he did in the World Series 2006. Started the first game on the road in Detroit and won that game.
Not sure if you and I did the game together. He had a game, I believe it was against the White Sox.
Yep, I remember.
Maybe a one-hitter, just dominating.
It was a one-hitter. He lost 1-0 and a Jim Thome home run. And I want to think it was this third at bat. I think he struck Thome out the first 2 times, but he made one mistake in that game and it cost him.
Again, most pitchers, it doesn't work. It's not, again, what you teach, but for a guy like Cingrani, that's what seems to work for him. The slider appears to be just for show.
Yeah, and it just, if he gets it over, it surprises him, the hitter and the umpire. I know all about that.
I appreciate your humility, Al. Ground ball right side, just fair. Votto takes it himself. That was a quick inning. Cincinnati so far 6-0. I think it's time for us to look at our AT&T U-verse rewind. And how about this moment? This was Ken Griffey Jr. homering in 2004 with his dad in the stands, and he did it on Father's Day. A terrific moment, a landmark home run, and a hug from Dad. Loved that moment at Busch Stadium, and the Cardinal fans understood that moment. And Senior had said, who also was a star here with the Cincinnati Reds, I've been following you around, waiting for you to get that 500. If you don't do it today, I'm going home.
Yeah, I remember that. He was, loves his son, but he goes, I'm tired of traveling this baseball life. Following you, hit one.
He had been there, done that.
Oh, yeah.
Good player in his own right.
Yes, he was.
Very good player. Chevy called to the bullpen is the right-hander Mitch Harris.
Mitch's done a nice job in his 24th appearance. See the good ERA. The only thing that you could complain about is the walks. And every time one of these players that are picking up here and they go back down, they give them kind of an assignment what to work on. And the biggest thing for Mitch was throw more strikes.
Pound the zone. He at times has put away stuff. He's got a good fastball, which has certainly come back for him as Brennan Bosch is the pinch hitter. We'll see Sam LeCoeur in the 7th inning. But Harris has that split, too, that at times can be a put-away pitch.
Well, it's a great story, and even better because he's pitching well, and he deserves this chance to be recalled once again. Mike Matheny has a lot of confidence in him. Just because this is a 6-0 game, he's putting him in there to stop the Reds and hopefully give the team a chance to come from behind.
Third Cardinal pitcher Garcia was knocked out after 4 1/3. Choate finished off the 5th. Now it's Mitch Harris in the 6th, and he gets Bosch to pop up in the infield. Who wants it? You get it, you get it. No, I'll get it, says Johnny Peralta. And it's out number 1. Cardinal fans, did you know that the StubHub app is personalized just for you? Now with the StubHub app, you can select your favorite teams and artists and discover new ones too. Start at StubHub and let the fun find you. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. There is an unhappy Cardinal camper. He did not want his team to be losing 6-0.
Oh, and he got his favorite ball player got taken out of this game. Tony Cruz replaces Molina. I understand Mike trying to give some of his regulars a little time off, but it's happening a little too frequently right now.
So the battery now Harris and Cruz. And Yachty will watch.
Well, I mean, just giving an inning or two off or your regulars here and there, it's what sense. Needs to be done. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I'm just saying because we were the one constant was you got always good pitching. So with so many close games, your guys were getting overworked. And Tony Cruz is on a little run right now. He's got a couple base hits last few times up, and Mike trying to do it, but he'd much rather be leading this game by a close margin and keep all of his regulars in there.
Hamilton actually considering this week giving up hitting left-handed. It's a thought that has been in the mind of some of the Reds personnel, and others think he needs to keep at it and keep trying to slap the ball, keep the ball on the ground from the left side. Although not on the ground there because Moss can beat him to the bag for out number 2.
I think you take a guy like Billy Hamilton, he was a natural right-handed hitter. But because of his phenomenal speed, someone said, well, you got to switch hit. You'll be that much closer, learn to slap down on the ball. But if you don't learn how to do it properly, then you feel like you're just a wasted out. And when you put that doubt in your mind, it just complicates even more.
His on-base percentage just .271 this season. That is not enough for a leadoff hitter. He's either got to walk more or hit more.
That's the old story. You can't steal first base. He had been batting ninth. You know, the second had the pitcher in the 8th spot, the second leadoff man. But when he was hurt, and he came back to the starting lineup yesterday, and they've been leading off both games.
Little liner into center field for Bourgeois. He's been on base 3 straight times. Walked twice, scored both of those times in the 3rd and the 5th, and a 2-out hit here in the 6th. It was Billy Hamilton's birthday yesterday. Turned 25, and you mentioned Joey Votto, 32 today. So he's 32 years old today, and Jaime Garcia threw one under his chin. No wonder he got mad. It's his birthday. Can't knock a guy down on his birthday. Hard hit to center field and deep back to the wall is Borges, and he almost ran out of room. Out number 3. Reds strand a runner and have a big lead. The 7th inning, and because it's the 7th inning, it's the Gateway Honda Let's Hit 7 Home Runs inning. If a Cardinals player hits a home run, the Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and they're going to need more than one. Borges, pitcher's spot, and Matt Carpenter at the top of the order here to face another left-hander. This time it's Manny Parra.
Yeah, Manny Parra coming into this ball game. It's another guy that has been injured and everything and trying to stay healthy. We've seen him as a starter with Milwaukee bounce around a little bit, and I think he's probably best suited in the bullpen, appearing for the 32nd time.
It's actually Tony Cruz hitting in the 9th spot. He was part of the double switch, so they put Tony in the 9th spot. So he is in the on-deck circle. So Borges, Cruz, and Carpenter here in the visitors' half of the 7th inning. Rough night so far for Borges. He struck out twice. He grounds that one foul. Borges, when he struggles, he's behind on the fastball. He's ahead of the breaking ball.
Bad place to be, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Of course, that's when a lot of hitters struggle with that same deal. Just can't get the timing down right. So he's a little ahead of that first pitch, a little behind in that one, and here he is 0-2 again.
It's tough when you're not getting enough at bats to try and get out of some bad habits. I think at times, you see him take an awful lot of fastball strikes. When they get ahead, they throw breaking balls in the dirt. Fastball strike.
Oh, 2 pitch to Borges. He just can't pull the trigger.
Well, you won't find anybody nicer than Peter Borges, but you feel for him.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned Tony Cruz having a couple of good at-bats lately. Last time we saw him, laced a base hit to left field. And he looked very comfortable at the plate, taking strike 1. Cruz hitting just 189. Again, not a lot of playing time for Tony.
He's only started 15 games this year. That'll be the toughest job, picking up an Ironman catcher that plays every day, and you know how tough it is to keep your bat sharp. But all the pitchers have tremendous respect for Tony and put all the work that Yachty does on a daily basis. Tony's right there with him.
It also hurts. You think about the popularity of Yadier Molina. I'm reminded of John Mabry talking about the days where he would play first base instead of Mark McGwire, and the fans would boo him, and we'd say, "Hey, I drove 200 miles to see McGwire, and I'm watching you." And John said, just there's no place to hide, and you understand that the fans want to see the popular player, and of course Molina is the most popular Cardinal right now, so Tony has to, I guess, take the brunt of that.
Yeah, not much you can do. But you know, the odd thing is that he has produced in those few times. You know, he's got the game-winning RBIs in 4 of his last 7 games when he's had an RBI. There's a Molina fan that was yelling at Tony. And
he's not even going to watch. If it's not Yachty, I'm not watching. I'm going to hide down here. You tell me what happens. I don't care. Yachty's not hitting.
You might be smart hiding down there with some foul balls coming at you.
All right, I'll watch.
He's going to see Tony get a hit.
He's ready to make a play for sure.
Can he hit? Hyperventilating in his glove.
It's a tough game, isn't it? Three and 2 now to Tony Cruz.
There's another good stat for Tony. I don't know if it applies in this situation, but he's batting .368 in close and late games.
It's late.
It's getting late,
but it's not close.
No.
Payoff pitch. Spoiled by Cruz. I bet that young man, if Tony Cruz gets a hit, is going to just jump up and down for joy. Ninth pitch of the at bat. The Cardinal backup catcher Tony Cruz, and here it comes. And it's a base hit to right. Start cheering, young man.
Way to go, Tony.
Look at that, Dad. Well, I guess he's not sold yet on Tony Cruz.
Is that the start of our big inning?
Really a nice at bat for Tony.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit. There was a little bit of clap on the top of the dugout.
Manny Parra, one of those success stories of a starter turned into a reliever. Done a nice job out of the bullpen.
Some guys just can't throw 3 times through the order, yet they can do it once.
Reds from the left side in their bullpen, as we're looking at 3 left-handed pitchers in a row here so far in this game. The starter Lamb, then Cingrani, then Parra. They also have Brandon Finnegan, one of the pitchers they got in the trade from the Royals. He just got recalled after really having a disastrous season in AAA. He was surprised he got called up. He admitted that, but he's here happily. And of course Chapman, the 4th left-hander, and they've got 9 right-handers in their bullpen, and I won't tell you who they all are. Just trust me, there's a lot of guys out there. The 2-1 grounded to the right side, and they turn it. 3rd double play turned by the Reds. Photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag MWDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Somebody take a picture of that young man. See if we can't get him in one of our Data Strong fan photo of the games in an upcoming telecast. He's hanging tough. Cardinals trailing 6-0. Not a lot of bright spots in this game. The Cardinals have not taken advantage of opportunities yet, and not the best we've seen of Jaime Garcia.
Now, Macheras, who is out there for a 2nd inning. Garcia takes over at shortstop. Greg, these are meaningful games when he's at shortstop, trying to get a read whether he can play that position. We know he plays 2nd and 3rd.
Phillips, Frazier, and Bruce. Well hit to right field. Hayward going back to the track, and he leaps, and he can't get it off his glove. It's a home run for Brandon Phillips. Hayward gave it a great effort, just couldn't hang on.
12th home run for Phillips, his 3rd RBI of the night.
Just how close was Jason Hayward?
First ball hitting was Brandon Phillips. It's a fastball and down and in, hits it out to right field. Hayward, 6'5", goes up, goes in the glove, but just couldn't hold on to it. Well, that would have been nice bringing that one back.
Timed it well. He went back to the wall. He did really everything right there, didn't he?
Yeah, just sometimes that little too flimsy at the top of your webbing and couldn't hold on to that and bring it back. Good effort, though. Kind of goes par for this game.
Sure does. Todd Frazier is 2 for 3, singled in the 2nd, doubled and scored in the 5th inning. Reds have RBIs from 5 different players, including their starting pitcher, John Lamb, who reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning. That's when the scoring started. Reds added 1 in the 3rd, 4 in the 5th, and the home run to Phillips here to lead off the 7th. 7-0 Cincinnati. Lamb in line if the Cardinals can't come back for his first major league victory, and that ball is booted by Reynolds. Ball was hit well by Frazier, but that should be an error. And the 8th there for Mark Reynolds.
Rains it pours.
Still awaiting the official scoring. Again, the ball hit pretty well, but that is an error. And we've just heard from the official score. It is indeed an error. Ball in the dirt, gets away, and what else can happen?
Don't ask, because there's a lot more negative things that could happen.
Well, you said that earlier about, just throw the ball down the middle, don't pick, then you wish you had of.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the late Bob Forsch, our Cardinal Hall of Famer, who told me one day when he was a rookie, guys were hitting little bloops all over the place, and he yelled from the dugout to the team.
Hit something hard. As
they took the field for the between innings, he was screaming at them. He just kind of was so frustrated by it. And he said, "Why don't you guys hit the ball hard?" And the next inning they did. So he would teach young players, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that, because they will.
The baseball gods have a way of teaching you a cruel lesson.
Oh, yeah. We mentioned this is a 10-game road trip for the Cardinals. 4 games here in Cincinnati. And then Milwaukee for 3 after an off day on Monday, and then 3 in Chicago next weekend. So very important road trip. All Central Division games. Harris walks Bruce. And more trouble for the Cardinals here in the 7th.
Suarez is 2 for 3. One time they got him out was a line drive to center. Hitting .315, so been holding his own and some.
Who's at the plate, Al?
Suarez.
What's his first name?
Suarez.
We practiced his name before the game, you and I both. And you just decided, well, you know what? We'll just call him Suarez.
What did I tell you then? To me, he's Suarez.
To you, he's Suarez.
To you, what's his first name?
Eugenio.
Eugenio.
Suarez is much
easy.
See, you did fine. Eugenio Suarez.
Okay, Suarez.
16,363 here at the ballpark. Eugenio a bit late on that delivery. Harris hoping for the double play ball here. Gets a ground ball, but foul. And a nice chat with Jim Riggleman before the game. I don't know if you had a chance to see him. Al, I know you're good buddies with him too. Former Cardinal coach. Longtime coach in the system. Played with the Cardinals in the minor leagues. Managed at the big league level, multiple places. And he's doing a good job here with Cincinnati, trying to keep everything afloat. Keep everybody positive, but he's a good baseball man.
You know, he was the triple. Well, obviously, he's managed in the big leagues a couple different stops, San Diego and Chicago, but was at the AAA level a year ago, and now it's Delano DeShields who's their AAA manager. But Jim Riggleman, as you said, very solid baseball man, good guy, and he could take over here if they wanted to, but. A lot of people think if Brian Price were let go, it would be Barry Larkin, the Hall of Famer.
In the dirt. There's talk about Price maybe having a tenuous hold on his job at the All-Star break, but he kind of weathered that storm, and really not fair. The Reds got to the point where they just kind of dumped players like Cueto and Leake and just kind of left him with a pitching staff of a bunch of young starters. So really not fair to him. There's the ground ball and not turned. Again, not hit hard enough by Suarez.
You know, talking with Jim Riggleman last time we were here, he paid a lot of compliments to Brian Price and said early in the season, you know, everybody was trying to say it was Price's fault, but then they started realizing that they just don't have the talent level. Injuries that eroded the ball club, and like you say, Price is safe right now.
So Matheny out for another pitching change. We'll have some defensive changes. We'll let you know when we get back. Through 6+ innings, 4-run 5th inning. Jaime Garcia, the starter, 4 1/3 innings. He gave up 6 runs, walked 4. Piscotty with a hit, one of 4 Cardinal hits, and John Lamb, the rookie, in line for his first major league victory. And you've got 4 infielders that are having a conversation about where they're playing. So you play second, I'll play third, you play first.
Tuivailala's going to pitch.
That we know.
His 12th appearance, a good ERA, 11 innings, 12 strikeouts. Walked too many with his 7 walks. You see 1 home run, but boy, that has changed. Remember last year he didn't make, I think his first 3 major league appearances he gave up a home run in every game, but he came up with a little bit of a cutter, and all of a sudden that really has changed the impression. And this guy is, he's going to be a big factor in that bullpen late innings very shortly.
He really has an opportunity to earn something, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And they are going to give him that opportunity too.
23 games remaining. Swing and a foul by Barnhart. Switch hitting catcher.
Hosmer has entered the game. He's now playing second base, so Carpenter's out.
Surprised Cosma's not at short and Garcia at second.
I think it's part of they want to find out if Garcia could play shortstop. And we'll see if that may be a decision of the roster who could back up Peralta.
It's a good point.
Best.
It's a good point.
Now Garcia has shown that he can hit, but you need to have somebody that can play shortstop to back up Peralta. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of competition for what we hope is postseason play. Still got to earn that.
0-2. There's that cutter and a good pitch on the inside corner to strike out Barnhart. So that will impress.
One of our favorites, Skip Schumacher, is going to come in here. Cruz got an equipment problem with his glove. But Skip had a tremendous season. He's got a lot of more playing time and pinch hit opportunities, and he leads the major leagues in with 17 pinch hits. Couldn't ask for a better teammate. Class act.
Runners at first and third. 7-0 Cincinnati, and it's strike 1 on the cutter, and that is an effective pitch. That's much better than we saw last time we saw Sam Tuivailala.
It seemed like he could throw high fastballs, high octane fastballs, but the way they were being hit, they had to be awful straight. So now he's come up with a little cutter, and it really is a difference maker. And all of a sudden you start seeing him in these situations. Remember, he signed as a shortstop, didn't convert to pitching until 2012.
At one point in the minor leagues, there was a level where they had 3 third basemen, and they were trying to figure out who was going to be the guy they were going to go with. And 2 of the third basemen were Stephen Piscotty and Sam Tuivailala. They said, no, you go to the outfield and you go to the bullpen. And I think that decision worked out pretty well.
Well, it was that draft. When Piscotty was drafted, they had 3 third basemen in that draft. Piscotty went to the outfield. Patrick Wisdom stayed at third base.
That's the guy that stayed.
And the other was the young catcher, or the young third baseman, they turned catcher.
Well hit to center field over the head of Borges, and Schumacher has another pinch hit. Frazier scores, and so does Suarez. And the Reds pile on.
It's the 18th pitch hit to lead the major leagues, and this one a double, 2 RBIs. And if you're going to lose this game, you just got to pull for guys like Skip. Ball was up over the middle of the plate, didn't have a lot of movement on it. They got burned with Borges playing so shallow. Got over his head, up against the wall, and 2 runners score.
.96 from Tuivailala to Billy Hamilton. A 4-run 5th, a 3-run 7th for Cincinnati. 9 runs on 10 hits now for an offense that is 12th in the National League in batting at .249. And the Reds 24 games under 500 coming into play. But they are taking it to the Cardinals here in game 1. Hamilton is 1 for 4. Singleton scored in the 5th. And he waves at that fastball up in the eyes, and Tuivailala gets a couple of strikeouts. But the Reds tack on 3 more onto the 8th. Important baseball going on in the National League. Let's go to our studio. Pat Paris has a Bommarito sports update. Thanks, Pat. So the Pirates have come back, and a big hill for the Cardinals to climb to come back. And let's look at our BJC Healthcare difference maker. That's Stephen Piscotty making the list of MLB RBI leaders since the 23rd of August. Got Edwin Encarnacion on that list, and Kyle Seager. It should be Ryan Zimmerman with 25 RBIs. But Piscotty really has been hot of late.
I remember on that last road trip, had the one Sunday with his first 2 home run game and 5 RBIs, carried it over into Arizona and then San Francisco. You need to get him going. He's 1 for 2 tonight. He also walked. He's got to set the table here against Sam LeClaire.
First time the Cardinals have seen a right-hander. And LeClaire gets his first batter. That's Piscotty. 3 unassisted. All zeros for the Cardinals so far. First at bat for Greg Garcia. Cardinals have emptied their bench, trailing 9-0, getting important at bats for players that are trying to earn something.
That's right. You know, every game, not only are you auditioning for the Cardinals and postseason roster, but there's a lot of scouts in the stands, and you know, always have eyes on you. So do something positive.
Suarez does not stay down on that ball, so an error perhaps on the shortstop Eugenio Suarez, and Garcia aboard.
It's an error by the shortstop Suarez. That's his 13th error, and it'll bring up John Jay to pinch hit. Garcia has a way of getting on base.
Sure does.
A lot of walks, hit well.
I just think Suarez tried to do too much too quickly with that, instead of getting the right hop, and more work to do with Brandon Phillips, but certainly improving at that position. John Jay will hit for Jason Hayward, and he takes strike one. Pete Kozma will bat next. I actually, Al, on the post game, and I did not share that on the post game because we're far from it, and it's so preliminary, and there's so many ifs and combinations and permutations, but I kind of started writing out the playoff roster, just thinking about, okay, what it might look like, and it's not easy to do. Just encourage people to kind of think about that, and how many pitchers do you want, and what does your bullpen look like, and so much can change for Mike Matheny and John Mozeliak in the next 23 days, and of course on their mind is not postseason roster. I get it. They're not thinking about that.
You got to qualify first, and they're very, very direct about that.
And they should be. But for us to actually think about what could be a reality coming for John Mozeliak and Mike, to think about who are the 25 best, and who are the 25 best to beat the particular team that you're playing.
I was going to say, you potentially have 3 different rosters in postseason play, and
absolutely,
it could be all 3 of them different. I would be leaning to having at least one less pitcher, to have an extra guy off the bench.
And a call third strike on the inside corner, so John Jay a strikeout victim.
Every time you think about Sam LaFleur, who was born in Jefferson City, Missouri, you always think about Tom Henke and his golf tournament that will be coming up in October.
Tom's been doing that for years, and he's such a gracious guy.
I think he could have kept on playing, but such a family man, he wanted to return home and be a dad.
If memory serves, I believe Tom Henke is coming to his first fantasy camp too. I know his name.
I think I did hear
name
that.
Is out there, and certainly would be great to have. Was a terrific closer in the big leagues for multiple teams, but also spent time with the Cardinals, and
final year, right?
And had a nice year.
And he had a very good year and could have come back, but being the family man that he is, and decided it was enough.
Pete Kozma getting a turn, and look who is on deck. We look at our telecast information, but let's look at that guy for a moment. Matt Adams in the on deck circle. How about that?
Who would have thought when he first went down?
And we might see him in this inning. Ball in right center field. Long run, but Billy Hamilton runs it down. Nice to have that kind of speed, isn't it? Make a plan to make it home. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Multiple changes for the Cardinals defensively. John Jay stays in the game. He'll be in right field. Tony Cruz moves from behind the plate to play third base. So Mark Reynolds out of the game, which means Cody Stanley is the Cardinals' third catcher of the night. So a lot of changes defensively. There's a look at Cody, and Sam Tuivailala will work his first full inning, and that pitch high and back to the screen.
You know, it's nice to have Mike Matheny get all these spare parts and give them a little playing time, get your regulars off the field, but you'd much rather do it with a 9-0 lead. And unfortunately, these last few games, this has become kind of a frequent occurrence. Is the pitching staff really now, I think you can say, has taken one bad turn all the way through the rotation.
Ball looked like it took the mask of Cody Stanley right off. That foul tip. Didn't seem too fazed by it, but
he's thrilled to be in there. So
yeah, the home plate umpire gave him some time to regroup. Bourgeois hits this one to left field, and Piscotty makes the play. Been another good night for Joey Votto. Seems like every night is a good night for Joey Votto. Scored a run, driven in a run, a walk, a single, a double, and a long fly ball that almost left the ballpark. A couple more feet, and we would be talking about him being a triple shy of the cycle. Good fastball there.
Just a good play.
He is.
Won the MVP award in 2010. Signed it in 2013. He signed a 10-year contract for $2.25 million. That's $225 million.
I knew that. Thank you for clarifying, though. Tuivailala rushing it up there to Votto. You certainly like the tools of this young right-hander, and you can see a tremendous upside potential.
Well, you can see his athletic bot, and remember he was a shortstop when he signed, and so you know he's got the power. He's got a great arm. You know, because he converted to pitching in 2012, you know, he doesn't have all that wear and tear on that arm, and so you like his upside and future, and really be pitching at this level after just converting to pitching in 2012. He's only going to get better.
There's that cutter, called third strike. Votto is caught looking. A nice pitch from Tuivailala. And I want to remind you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this very game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Jesus Jr. will hit here for Phillips.
Looks so much like his dad.
He really does.
Longtime Cub shortstop, played for the Cardinals for, I believe, just 1 year. Ivan De Jesus. And that ball is fair past Tony Cruz. And De Jesus is going to end up with a stand-up double. All smiles, just like his dad.
Way off the line, tries to backhand it and takes a bounce. And end up with a double. So Tuivailala has struck out 3 of his 4 outs. He's allowed 2 hits, both of them doubles.
And Frank Sinatra, the walk-up Music for Todd Frazier.
He's from New Jersey, not New York.
Yes, he is. I know a Sinatra fan, though. And he takes strike one from Tuivailala. Frazier scored twice and driven in a run. Good offensive night for everybody in this Reds lineup.
Reds have out hit the Cardinals 11-4.
Waves at that delivery. DeJesus, the runner at second. Frazier hitting with 2 outs in the 8th. The Cardinals will have Reynolds, Moss, and Borges, and a lot of work to do.
See, when he stays on top of that little cutter, he really has good movement and fools these hitters.
Do you remember Ivan DeJesus' nickname?
I don't think so.
It's the Spanish word for octopus.
Oh, I do that.
Pulpo.
Pulpo.
Because his dad ran like an octopus. Now, I don't know what an octopus runs like. Really?
8 legs.
Yeah, but they called Ivan DeJesus Pulpo because they said he ran like an octopus. Just something for you to ponder, Al, for the rest of the night.
Well, you ever had pulpo?
I have.
I like it too. Marinated. Very good.
Wild pitch. The Cardinals have had a few of those in this game. Pulpo Jr., the runner at third. And that one is gone. Home run, Frazier. 11-0 Cincinnati.
32nd home run. There's 2 more RBIs, 3 on the night, up to 83 RBIs on the season. And the Cardinals, well, they got a little more work to do.
So the learning curve continues for Sam Tuivailala.
What you learn is if you don't put a ball where you want it at this level, it can do this. And throw up there at high octane, but it got to be straight the way that it gets hit. That's why that cutter is so important for him.
It was a 4-seam fastball at 95, but you're right, it was straight. The location was down and away, but
yeah,
it's the big leagues.
Yep. Some of those right-handed hitters have that ability to go out and get that pitch down and away and kind of hook it and jerk it to left. 11-0. Who would have thunk it? Especially the start of the game where Lamb walked the first 2 batters. 0-3, ERA over 6.
Garcia had not lost a game since July.
His last 7 starts, the team was 7-0. He was personally 5-0 during that time. ERA well under 2.
10-3 record overall against the Reds in his career, but that's why you got to play the game.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Other sports, usually you can extremely high percentage the best team's going to win. But in baseball, you never know. You might get a great pitching performance, or somebody does something unusual and take a win against the best team.
Nice play by Cosma, and not in time as the ball's bobbled at first base by Brandon Moss. Terrific attempt by Pete Cosma.
Great attempt for Cos. Goes deep out on the grass, gets that ball, throws a strike right to Moss, and probably handcuffed him. Didn't know how to catch the ball, but there's the great effort here. He throws a strike right to the chest. Oh, it bounced. We couldn't see that, and he couldn't hold on to it.
So another pitching change for the Cardinals. Frazier makes it worse for St. Louis. Get the last out here in the 8th inning. Done a nice job. ERA 1.73 for Sokolovic. And the Cardinals bullpen has gotten beaten around a little bit here tonight. Tough start for Garcia. 3 runs tacked on in the 7th. 2 more here in the 8th inning. 2-run shot by Todd Frazier. So Mike Matheny will go to Sokolovic to try to finish the night. Facing Suarez. Lamar, the pinch runner for Jay Bruce. Cardinals not worried about him. They're worried about trailing by 11. You know, Al, you mentioned the phrase before we went to break that with all the positive things going the Cardinals' way, is one of the things about baseball is you never know. And that made me think of our dear friend Joaquin Andujar, who passed. And
it was one word.
And that's his one word. That's what he would always say. One word about the game is you never know. And certainly our thoughts and prayers for the family of Joaquin Andujar. Tough night for the Cardinals. 11-0 going to the 9th. In the top of the 9th inning is the at-bat of Matt Adams, who is in the on-deck circle. We're going to see Adams and Cody Stanley and Peter Borges here in the 9th inning. Cardinal fans hanging on here. Not a lot to smile about, but still find a way to have fun at the ballpark. 11-0 Cincinnati. See, he's still having fun. I think he got a little extra cotton candy in the 8th inning, and it's starting to kick in.
I believe it.
First up, Cody Stanley. Like the way he swung the bat out.
Yeah, he's come up here and done a nice little job, you know, especially pinch hitting. Stanley, about his first 4 appearances were all as pinch hitters, and he's come through. 3 for 6 on the homestand. His first 7 major league games were all as a pinch hitter. He was 4 for 7, 571 average, a double, 3 RBIs. Got 4 hits, 3 of them on 2 strike counts.
Ryan Matthews has the 9th. So the Cardinals have used everybody except Colton Wong with the bad calf, close to returning to the Cardinals lineup. Tommy Pham, Randall Grichuk. We also haven't seen them. Reds bullpen with a collective ERA of 3.8. The Cardinals bullpen 2.4. But it hasn't turned out that way tonight.
No, and it's we wind down here. That bullpen ERA just keeps on growing. You say the same thing for the Cardinal starters. Still, both of them are #1 in the National League ERA wise. Reds got Matthews on waivers from the Angels.
Three and 2 to Cody Stanley. Al, I think it's fair to say that the Cardinals need an inordinate number of bloops and blasts.
I don't know if I can count that high. How many we need?
You know how much Danny hates it when we say that?
I know. I knew.
Which is exactly why we keep saying it. I hope he heard it. One out for the Cardinals here in the 9th. Our Budweiser player of the game is Todd Frazier. 3 for 5, a home run, 3 RBIs. That home run was home run number 32, and he now has 83 RBIs, so having another big season. An all-star year for Frazier. And here's Matt Adams. Just wonder how good his timing can be.
Well, it can't be very good. You know, it's just you don't sit out 4 months and come back. Remember, he was supposed to be a 4 to 6 month prognosis, surgery, muscle torn off the bone.
Nice swing there.
Yeah, it really was. You saw what Grichuk did in his first swing, and he didn't have it. He'd never hit on the field. It rained that day. We were supposed to hit on the field for the first time in live BP, and got rained out, so he lit a little bit in the cage.
You saw the great numbers that Adams has had here at this ballpark. He loves hitting here. In fact, the game where he had I believe two home runs in extra innings.
Yep. It was a major league record, wasn't it?
I believe so. One and two on Matt Adams. And a line drive down the right field line, and it's fair. Adams rounding first, and that's enough.
Good enough.
They were right there. Matt Adams. Nice to see Matt Adams. Swinging the bat.
And they'll get a pinch runner. if we can find a live body.
Another wise decision.
It's
And
Grichuk.
It's going to be Grichuk.
So Grichuk, remember, he was initially supposed to just be available to run. But he got a pinch hitting appearance the other night, hit one 451 feet up in the Big Mac land.
Well, he was available to pinch run and hit long home run, evidently.
Yeah, so he wouldn't have to. But they said he could run, and welcome back, Matt Adams.
Oh, it's terrific. And look at his teammates there. I mean, you're having a long night. It's a tough night. Not a lot has gone the Cardinals' way, but they understand the significance to Matt Adams for his long rehab road back.
Well, also, you just what it means to the ball club to see him be able to pinch hit. Eventually, he'll get a batting eye back, and he'll have enough time. It'll probably take till the rest of the season to get it, though. But
can you imagine what was going on inside the head of Chris Conroy and Greg Houck and
all
Cardinal
the
staff, all the doctors and the manager and just thinking as Matt was running down to first base, please be okay. You just wonder what's going to happen game speed wise.
Well, remember when it happened, it looked so innocent. It's like, okay, pulled something, but we never thought it was going to be a season ending. And through all the hard work of all the aforementioned people and Matt.
And Adam Olson in that shot there.
Adam Olson
to
was
his right.
Rehab trainer.
Borges is jammed. 2 outs for the Cardinals in the ninth.
Conroy, Adam Olson.
And Adam really does handle a lot of the rehab assignments. Chris is there with Greg on a day-to-day basis at this level. But Adam, when a guy really has, and others will work on him, but Adam is focused on that, on helping guys get back.
Yeah, usually you don't see Adam because he's staying back when the team's on the road and those guys are not traveling and they're doing all the rehab, going to the ballpark every single day. So it really is a feather in the medical and training staff's cap when you get somebody back. And don't forget, the player has to want to come back too.
Popped up. This should do it. And this game is over. Duvall has it. Cruz pops out. And the Cardinals drop game one here in Cincinnati, 11-0. All Cincinnati Reds. And the fireworks tell the story.
I don't know whether it's appropriate or not, but now Garcia has 5 losses, and all 5 losses have been Cardinal shutouts.
Nothing going well here tonight at Great American Ballpark. The postgame show, Jim Edmonds, Pat Paris, comes up next.